Hello and a warm welcome from the EBB Stadium, the home of National League side Aldershot Town. And of course, this being a garrison town, this ground is right in the heart of the community, and the Army and the club have enjoyed a very strong relationship over the years. Let's cast our minds back to the National Service days when Stan Collis and Joe Mercer, England internationals of their time, played here. But enough about football trivia, let's bring it right up to date. It is the Inter-Services 2023 Championship, and this is the second round of games because last week the Royal Navy hosted the RAF down at Fratton Park. And how did that work out? Well, it finished in a battling 1-1 draw.
Opportunity then into the box. The number 7, it's a good shot, it's a great save. Oh, the cross comes over, old spill by Pollock-Brigg, and the referee has said penalty. Elliot Holmes, who will have the opportunity to put the Navy in front. And it's saved! Oh, has it gone in? No, it's gone in. And he's so cross with himself with Pollock-Brigg because he thought he'd saved it, but then the ball just seemed to roll out of his hand and into the net. Gosley. Again. Chance. That's a lovely ball through. Oh, and it's going to be an equaliser, surely it is an equaliser. And would you believe it's Brodie Gray who's got on the end of it. The Navy defence finally broken. It's 1-1.
So all square at Fratton Park then. Will that play into the Army's hands tonight? Because the Royal Navy have to go out and get a result if they're to win the Inter-Services Championship this time around. That's a question that I posed both head coaches.
The pressure is a little bit on us to get the result. However, I think if we look back at the performance from last week, we've done ourselves a little bit proud there. Historically, we've been a difficult fixture versus the RAF, and for us to take them that distance 86 minutes into the game, for them to get by all means, it was a little deflection that landed in his path. but we can take a lot of credit from that, and we'll go into this game full of confidence.
I know the Navy have been building nicely, and it's all about getting that winning momentum coming into this very short tournament. I mean, how do you prepare for a tournament that's only 3 fixtures, of which you're only featuring in 2?
I think it's important that you don't lose the first game. So we did set up with a solid bank of 4 with a 5 out of possession, so that we could nullify their threat. They've got difficult players to play against. Gosling himself is very, very talented. We knew he can thread passes through the eye of a needle, so we had to try and nullify that. Going into today's game, we feel we can be a little bit more on the front foot and try and take the game to the Army, and hopefully we can get some goals that'll put a little bit of pressure onto the RAF come next week.
Yeah, you've got a big physical side. Do you think that's where it's going to be won and lost today, in that physical encounter?
I think so, yeah. I mean, the Army are physical as well, so I think it will be a match for them. It'll be a lot more physical than last week. But again, we've prepared correctly. We've put the time and effort in all our training sessions. We're in a good place. The spirits are high, and we're looking forward to hopefully getting a result tonight.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's such a small tournament. There's just 3 teams, 3 fixtures. You're playing in the second round of those games, so you have to get up to speed pretty quickly. How have you prepared your side for tonight's fixture?
Yeah, well, I mean, firstly, the Constantinople Cup has been going since 1919, so, competed for a long time. In terms of our preparation, whether it was match day 1 or match day 2, we sort of prepare the same way. Some might look at it and say you've got an advantage playing on match day 2 because you get to see the others play first. But whether it's match day 1 or 2, the preparation's been exactly the same.
You took on the reins of Army football last year, but it was disrupted slightly because you were then deployed at short notice.
Yeah.
So is it a clean slate, or is everything that happened last year put to one side? Fresh start, lads, here we go.
Well, it's given me more motivation, firstly, for missing the game. Sat in my little sort of basher last year in Baghdad, about 10 metres away from Saddam Hussein's old Ba'ath Party headquarters, watching it on Forces TV, and obviously being disappointed, not just to not be there for the team, but with the overall result of the competition, and that's given me personally given me more motivation to make sure that we're ready this evening.
We mentioned earlier that you think the Navy are going to have to go all out. You're blessed with some counter-attacking players. Is that how you think this is going to go? You're going to soak up the pressure and then hit the Navy hard?
Well, I'm not going to give any tactics away or anything, but you're right to point out, we're blessed with the players we've got, from Scott McCarthy to Harry Beckley, Greg Peel, to our wide players, and Lee Phillips and Scott Hine, Sean Woolley, to name but a few there. The headache is getting them all on the pitch at any one time, but we're certainly going to try and play to our strengths.
And you're blessed with a fine shot stopper as well, one of the best in non-league football.
Absolutely, not just in non-league football, but the best in service football, and has been for a number of years, and he'll skip at the side this evening.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Thank you. So the stage is set. The 2 age-old rivals of the Army and the Royal Navy are about to go head-to-head. And to talk us through tonight's fixture, it's John Knighton and some Royal Air Force guests. John, who have you got up on the commentary gantry with you?
And a very warm welcome to the EBB Stadium here in Aldershot, live for this evening's coverage of this second match in the Inter-Services Championship for the men for 2023. And it's a great pleasure for me to welcome 2 members, 2 very important people in the Royal Air Force setup who are joining us tonight for their totally neutral, obviously, views on this evening, the proceedings. I've got Andy Kutcher, who's the team manager, and Christian Pollitt-Briggs as well, who is the goalkeeper as well for the RAF teams. Gentlemen, a very warm welcome, and thanks a lot for joining us tonight here in Aldershot. I'm sure that Andy, you're going to be taking lots of copious notes anyway as the game is going on. But for both of you, obviously, really important to see these 2 teams in action, especially after last week, Andy.
Yeah, thank you very much, firstly, to BFBS and yourself, John, for the warm welcome and the invite. Yeah, really important game. Don't know really what to expect. Anticipate a highly contested game as it was last week. Obviously, like you've already alluded to, I'm sat here with my notebook on a spying mission. But yeah, we're looking forward to a really good game and hopefully get some tactical knowledge for our preparations for next week.
Okay, well, Chris, good to have you with us as well tonight. I know that you and Brighty have been sort of vying for position to join us this evening, but I think you obviously won that little battle this evening. I know you'll be keeping a very close eye on the performance of the goalkeepers. From your perspective, I know there was that penalty last week, but I want to just mention that crucial save that you made right at the end of the game last week, which actually was, a game saver in a way for the RAF.
Well, thanks for obviously mentioning that. I suppose it makes, some way of redeeming that sort of incident with the penalty, but happens to every keeper.
But goalkeepers aren't really supposed to save penalties, are they? At the end of the day, a striker should put the ball in the back of the net. But it was so close, that penalty.
It's almost as if I wish I'd just dived the wrong way. To be honest, it wouldn't have been a replay in my mind all week. But there we go.
It's frustrating. Well, talking about tonight, let's get in before the players come out on the pitch to have a look at the two teams, shall we? And the first thing we should say about the Royal Navy is a warm welcome back tonight to their skipper Danny Kerr, missing last week because of a family bereavement, and it's great that Danny is back, obviously, in the setup this evening. And a few other little changes. I learned that Alan Snedden has come in at number 9 for them this evening at the centre forward position. An injury picked up for their central attacker Sanchez Jans Baker, but he is on the bench tonight, so obviously they've got that opportunity for the Navy.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit unfortunate for the big striker last week, because I thought he was certainly a massive part of the Navy setup and the way they were going to play. Obviously a good thing for us, and I don't mean that in any injury way, but obviously he went off, which disrupted their plans a little bit. But yeah, he's on the bench tonight, so I believe Grimwood comes in for him, so it'll be interesting how they change their tactical sort of formation and the way they play from last week.
Well, I think Mark, obviously, and the management team for the Navy, they've put him on the bench. Whether Sanchez actually plays a part of this, we'll have to see later. As far as the Army's concerned, well, it's obviously their first run out for the season, so lots of them to go for as well tonight. Let's have a look at the Army team, and obviously Luke Kearney, who is captain this evening, 12 years now in the Army setup. That's extraordinary. Lots of experience in that Army team.
Yeah, he's a big leader, isn't he, for not only the Army but also for UCAF. Obviously he leads with example, and he's one of the top keepers in all 3 services. Got to be careful what I say here, because I've got PB, so I rate obviously PB here a little bit above him. But yeah, they're both top lads and top goalkeepers.
Ray Luke Kearney is a great bloke as well as being a fantastic keeper. Great to work with.
Of course, you sort of come across each other at UCAF level, don't you? So he's well there. But I think we're standing by for the national anthem very shortly. The team's just being introduced to our VIPs for this evening. And as far as the rest of the Army team is concerned, I mean, Scott Hind, 3rd year in the side, very, very busy. Sam Atkinson, we know everything there is to know about players, and they've got quality all over the pitch, haven't they, the Army?
Yeah, no, I think last year they had a new change in management, as all 3 services did. So it'll be interesting. He's brought obviously Jimmy's brought a few players back, and relying a little bit more on some of those experienced players that might not have been involved last year. But like you say, Sam's a fantastic player as well at UCAF level and for the Army. So it'd be a big addition for the Army.
It will. So we're just about ready to go. Just the presentations as being made at the moment, and I see that the second Sea Lord is definitely here tonight. Obviously, president of the Royal Navy Football Association, and other various dignitaries. I'm sure the sponsors obviously here are involved. Decent little turnout here at the Aldershot Town Stadium tonight, and must mention as well for last night, because obviously we were here last night for the women's game, and that was quite a victory for the Royal Navy women, wasn't it? 5-2 in that game last night. And obviously the RAF women, they know that a win next Wednesday will bring another title for them. But, for you, the ideal result, I suppose, would be another draw, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's not very often I come to a football match, John, and will on a 0-0 boring draw, to be honest. But yeah, that'll be the perfect result for us tonight. But it's all about inter-service football. I'm sure it'll be an entertaining game. I'm sure there'll be goals in the game. But let's, from our perspective, certainly we are hoping for a 0-0 draw, or at least worst case scenario 1-1 draw. I
mean, whatever happens, it's all going to be decided next week in Shrewsbury for the men, and obviously over at Leek Town as far as far as the women are concerned. I must just mention there was actually a Masters game earlier on today here in Aldershot at the Military Stadium. A victory for the Army by 4 goals to 3. So first bragging rights as far as the men are concerned goes to the Army tonight.
Yeah, I actually attended that game, and it was a very entertaining game. Some old bones creaking on the old 4G, but very entertaining, very competitive. Obviously, Keith Emerson strolled around the pitch in that game and, you know, just showed his quality and his class. But
I was talking to Emma earlier. Yeah, you're quite right. And of course, he's very much still a part of the UCAF setup, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And, you know, it's quite interesting to see him playing a 10-roll, a 4-roll, a 7-roll, and an 11-roll all in one game. But, yeah, top lad and good player.
Time then for the national anthem, as we all stand to attention. So the national anthem's completed then. So just very quickly running through those two teams. The Royal Navy, Lawrence McCormick in goal, Dick Glendon at number 2, Rhys Thomas at 3, David Vincent at 4, Pete Bradley at number 5, Jack Wright also there in the central defence, Harry Girdwood, Elliot Holmes at number 8, Alan Stedden at 9, Danny Kerr captaining the side tonight at number 10, and Sean Powell wearing number 11. As far as the Army are concerned, Luke Kearney in goal. He is leading the side tonight, captain, with Matty Evans at 2. 3 is Sergeant Lee McCombie. Sean Thompson at number 4, Craig Stevenson at 5 at centre-back alongside captain Mo Sabo at number 6, Air Trooper Scott Hinders at 7, 8 is Lance Corporal Sam Atkinson, Sapper Scott McCarthy at 9, Gunner Harry Beckley at number 10, and Fusilier Lee Phillips wearing number 11. Those are the starting lineups then for the two teams this evening, and we are looking forward to a really close-fought match this evening. And just before we go into the game, gentlemen, obviously, what are your thoughts? Obviously, I know what you're hoping for. What are you expecting tonight? A Navy victory or possibly a victory for the Army?
It's hard to tell, to be honest. Not really had much insight into what the Army have been doing form-wise, but we know that we're always going to put a strong team in front of, you know, whoever in these inter-services fixtures. But, you know, also we've seen last week the Navy are pretty competitive as well, so they'll be well up for it. They'll be, you know, physical like they were last week and competitive for 90 minutes, that's for sure.
Well, wherever you are this evening, well, you're more than welcome. And as ever, we'd love to hear from you via our social media page tonight, particularly on Facebook and obviously on YouTube as well. And Jamie Doy, good evening to you, Jamie. Always tuning in for our live streams up there at Leicester Tigers. Army Sport Control Board say, come on the Army, surprisingly enough. John Douglas, evening all from Musselburgh. Looking forward to a great game this evening. Come on the Army. Come on the Army, boys, says Ryan Paddock. Luke Nobby Noble says, let's go, boys. And Helen Richardson, okay, I wonder who she's cheering for this evening. It's very much UCAF, but I'm sure she's got her Navy hat on this evening.
I thought she would be a little bit more towards the Army these days, but no, that's like swearing at Helen, isn't it? But she'll be well and truly behind the Navy boys tonight.
She certainly will. Good luck to the Royal Navy senior men tonight. Let's hope for a repeat of last night's Royal Navy senior women's performance, says Glenn Long. And also Ryan Paddock, up the Reds, he says. Our match officials this evening, all from the Royal Air Force. Let's give them a mention this evening. James Hall is the man in the middle, with his assistants James Astley and Albie Jeffrey, and Richard King is the 4th official. So that's the way we are set, ready to go here then for this second match in this season's Men's Inter-Services Football Championship, live here on our Forces News Facebook and our YouTube channel. And away we go then in these early moments of this first half, with the Army in their all red strip kicking from left to right, as you would imagine. And straight away it's the Army who are in possession. Nice bit of work then in the middle of the field there for them, but it's the Navy who pick it up. And here's Sean Powell. Powell driving forward. The challenge coming in from Scott Hind, but Powell still has it. Wide on this left-hand side. Oh, and there's a bit of a challenge there. No, was it a back pass? I don't think it was. Craig Stevenson just stepping in to make sure that Luke Kenny didn't have too much of an issue. And referee just going over to have a word with the Army. And actually, I think we've got a flat football. Not a good start.
Not a great start, John. No, but a great challenge from the Navy centre half there. Big, strong challenge. He certainly set his stall out for the first couple of minutes, and a great little bit of skill there from who was the 11, Sean Powell there, just to nick it past the Army 7.
Yeah, he did really well with that, didn't he? But the Navy, that's really their first, I suppose you could call it the first attempt on target. Referee gets in the way, and it will be brought back then for a drop ball in favour of the Army, which Sam Atkinson back to his goalkeeper. Early moments of this game, pitch looking in great shape here at the EBB Stadium, home of Aldershot Town. And here come the Army on this right-hand side. Harry Beckley just taking it wide, but loses out. Here's Hind. Back to Beckley. And here's Matty Evans getting a touch of the ball. Nice little cross. Nice control for the Army, and it's a shot on target, and that was Sam Atkinson with the shot. Blocked by the defence. Navy having to really hold out here, and I'm sure that the Navy keeper, Lawrence McCormick, pretty pleased to get his hands on the ball in the end.
Yeah, that's what you want at the start, isn't it? That's a great area there. Matty Evans has put the ball in there, just right in between that corridor of indecision there.
Yeah, just unfortunately a little bit slack from Sean Powell there with a little back heel, and just allowed, you know, the Army in that final third, which, you know, you just sort of first couple of minutes just settle down, don't do anything silly in your final third, so giving the ball away in silly areas.
Throw to the Navy. Rhys Thomas had a really impressive game last week at Portsmouth for the Navy against the gentleman who sat next to me this evening from the Royal Air Force in that 1-1 draw up at Portsmouth FC. Great that these games are being played at league stadiums, league grounds, or certainly top non-league grounds, as well as we have here in Aldershot. So Kearney with the kick downfield, handled by Jack Wright. Ball goes out wide onto that right-hand side. Here's Harry Girdwood for the Navy, wins the throw-in.
Really good conditions tonight, John. I think pitch looks really nice, slick, no wind, perfect conditions for playing football.
Very much so. But, I'm expecting a really good game here tonight between two teams. There's so much to play for. Obviously, all three of you have got a huge amount to play for in this Senior Men's Inter-Services Championship. There's a man down at the moment for the Navy, just on the right-hand side. It looks like Nick Glendon, who was the player of the match for the Navy in the...
I don't think it's Nick Glendon.
No, it's Nick Glendon's on the ball on the throw-in,
yeah,
at the far side. I think it's the centre half.
Is it Pete
Bradley, is it?
Yeah,
I think it's 5.
He's not moving at the moment. I hope he's going to be okay. Takes a lot for Bradley to fall to the ground. A couple of yellow cards, of course, for the Navy in the last game. And Bradley was one of them. He picked up it.
Let's just hope it's not a head injury.
Yeah, it looks like he's just having a bit of a tension on his left knee at the moment. But this is a hold-up that Mark and the Navy squad will not want to happen. I think we should give a mention, shouldn't we, to virtually the entire Navy hierarchy, who this is their last evening tonight before they leave the service. Both of them, all three of them actually, more than 20 years service, which is extraordinary.
Yeah, I spoke to Mark before and after the game, our game last week, and you know, he's extremely passionate about service football, and you know, he'd love to go out on a high, and you know, obviously, I'm sure the Army, myself, and Jimmy are going to try and put a stop to that. But you know, the Navy guys have been an advocate for service football, and they're a real credit to their service, and we wish them, you know, certainly from the RAF, all the very best in their future careers.
Yeah, we certainly do, and good to see Dippin Pearce here tonight as well, obviously with his massive contribution to UCAF football over the last few years. Anyway, Pete Bradley is just off the field at the moment and very gingerly walking back. It looks like his right knee that he's done some damage.
Is that a sub, Kieran Feeney coming on? Is that the 12?
I haven't seen any changes.
Story, is it?
There is a 12, yeah,
number 12,
it is. Kieran Feeney's come on, yeah. So it looks like Bradley. That's a major loss to the Navy early doors in this game.
Yeah, at the same time though, I was really surprised he was left out, because he played. I thought he was one of their best players last week against us. You know, played in the 10 role and certainly hurt us for the goal, to be honest. So it was a little bit of a surprise that he was left out, but. Obviously got his opportunity pretty early in the game.
Looks like the Navy has sort of moved to a flat back 4 as a result of that.
Gone into a 4-3-3, haven't they?
The Navy pushing forwards. Referee says that was an unfair challenge by Elliot Holmes, scorer, of course, of the penalty last week to put the Navy ahead. RAF fighting hard to get back into it, and it was a very good second half performance from the RAF to pull themselves back into that game. But Chris here making a great save right at the end of the match to deny a winner for the Navy. Anyway, with the free kick, it's Kearney, plays the ball across field to Mo Sabo, the only officer in the Army team this evening. Mo, who is 6'4", but they say that with his haircut, actually adds an extra inch, makes him 6'5", apparently. You pick up all these bits of information, you know, down the line.
Yeah, he's got a bit more than the last time I saw him, to be fair. Yeah. Just let it grow out there in Turkey if that's where he's still at.
That's right, based up in Incirlik, isn't it, out there in Izmir, working with the team out there. Good to have him here this evening. Right, here's the Navy then, mid of the field. Ball goes out wide on the left here to Thomas. Nice 1-2. Thomas gets it back. Out of play, throw into the Navy. Tentative start from both sides here.
Yeah,
both had opportunities.
Yeah, both sides just trying to figure each other out tactically, aren't they? And you know, it's always going to be cagey in the first sort of 10-15 minutes, but I'm sure they'll settle down.
Crossfield from Jack Wright, having to reorganise their defence, the Navy, and actually it looks to me like it's a groin injury that. It looks to me that Pete Bradley has suffered. He's really struggling. Yeah,
it looks like under his shorts he's actually got a bit of a strap in as well, yeah. So maybe he's not quite gone into the game fit, but you know, it's that risk you've got to take as a manager of, do you start somebody or do you put them on a bench and bring them on and potentially they have a breakdown. So unfortunately the gamble hasn't paid off.
Army playing a very high line so far in this game, which the Navy will feel they can take advantage of, but they concede the free kick. Harry Beckley winning that free kick, so
just a bit scruffy in midfield at the minute, isn't it? You know, just there's a lot of turnover of ball, a few fouls being committed, but you know, I think both teams are just trying to stamp their authority on the game.
9 minutes played here in this match, in this inter-services game. The free kick comes in.
Great header there.
It was a very good header from Nick Glendon, who was the player of the match for the Navy last week. And we've got our first corner of the game, which Glendon has conceded. And set pieces played a massive role in last night's women's game, with the Navy scoring 2 goals. Here comes the con. Picked up quickly by McCombie. But one back by the Royal Navy. Can they drive it forward? Good recovery, though, from Lee McCombie there. Did really well. Ball goes forward. Chance for the Army, and it's going to be in the back of the net. And it's Scott McCarthy who has got this opening goal. It's a beautiful through ball from Lee McCombie, and there was McCarthy to touch the ball home and put the Army one up.
Yeah, great start for the Army. You know, I thought a little bit of a through ball and a tidy little finish, a little toe poke into the corner.
He checked his run nicely there, just managed to stay onside, getting him behind.
Yeah, but done well. Just it was as if it trickled past the keeper a little bit, so not sure if he was unsighted a little bit as it's been played through. But great finish from Scott McCarthy, and we know that we know the threat that he poses in off the shoulder.
Because initially McCombie lost the ball, won it back, and then played a fantastic through ball, which really split the Navy defence in two, didn't it? And so Scott McCarthy opens the scoring here after just 10 minutes of this inter-services game. The Army are in front 1-0. Are we in front of the goal fest as we had last night? So a really good start for the men in red then. And they'll aim to make it even better for them. It was a fine goal. Rob Baston says, great memories of this fixture when I was a manager of the Army back in 2006-9. Come on, the boys. So proud of Rob Baston tonight, who is playing.
Yeah, Feeney just trying to affect the game in those little pockets there. He's just picking that up in the little 10 roll there. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's a great ball.
It was a fantastic ball for the Navy, and going on that is Harry Girdwood on that right-hand side, picks it up.
Can he pick a pass?
Oh dear, that pass let him down a bit, didn't it?
Yeah. But another great ball though from, like I said, you know, Feeney picking that little 10 roll up, picking a pocket, spraying it, and then they've just got in behind there. Unfortunately, it's just that final ball that let them down.
Powell gets it low cross. Navy jiggling around with it. It's a great shot.
Great save.
Elliot Holmes, and what a brilliant save that was from Luke Carney. Wow.
Yeah, Luke Carney had to build his toes there. Got two good hands onto the ball.
What a response from the Navy.
Yeah.
Very nearly 1-1.
Some really good build-up play there. You know, patient in possession. You know, throwing it into the front striker and trying to play off the first phase, and then getting a shot off. And Luke does what he does really well, and you know, tips it over the bar.
So Sean Powell then with this corner then for the Navy, their first corner of the match. Carney again with a great punch forward, just clearing away the damage, and the Army win the free kick. So danger averted just for now, but the Navy showing how dangerous they can be on both flanks in these early stages, and they'll be keen to get back into this game. "13 minutes gone here at the EBB Stadium here in Aldershot. Army getting an early lead. Just 2 or 3 minutes ago, Scott McCarthy with the goal. Really well taken goal. Not a lot that Lawrence McCormick could do about it. Hefty challenge. Referee says it's a fair one. Army then with the opportunity then to go forward one more time. Beckley challenged, and it goes out for a throw.
Important challenge there from Scott Hine there. You know, he's tucked in the fullback there and put a strong challenge in, and it just turns the ball over for the Army in a great final third.
Throwing then for Matty Evans to take. Wide here on this right-hand side. Really nice turn there from McCarthy, who's got his tails up, obviously, after getting that goal. But quick distribution then from the Navy. Here's Girdwood.
Oh, tell you what.
Inside the opportunity is fizzled out by the Army, by big Mo Sabo there wearing number 6. Such an open game. It's so open, this match. Opportunity then for McCarthy again on the edge of the penalty area. Navy clear it. No panic at the moment. Nice work from Matty Evans again.
Oh, foul. Foul in my opinion, but linesman hasn't given it.
He's given a throw in instead. It was shall we say, it was a strong challenge, wasn't it, on Jack Wright there, who was going in for it. And it takes a lot to knock Jack Wright off the ball.
Yeah, I think it was strong but fair. One of those ones.
A contrast of views from our Royal Air Force pundits here tonight, but who'd be a referee, eh?
Yeah, absolutely, especially after the Mitrovic situation on
oh my goodness,
on Fulham, who was it? Fulham Manu, was it, or whatever it was?
But, it was in the FA Cup.
But you know,
well, I can't imagine you as a manager would have a rant at the referee like that.
Never, John. Never.
Not in service football anyway.
Never seen that happen.
No, you should have seen me in Spain trying to have an argument with the Spanish linesman. He didn't understand me and I didn't understand him. So that was a good two-way conversation.
We're not talking cards here, are we?
No, not at all. No.
Evans then with the throw. Nodded forward nicely by Scott Hind. Army still just pressing at the moment, looking for this second goal, which would really give them the advantage here in Aldershot, leading 1-0 in this inter-services clash with the Royal Navy. Look like they mean business though. Here's Sabo, picks it up, plays it forward nicely down onto that left-hand side. And here's Lee Phillips, gets the cross in. Really important clearance by Jack Wright. Navy then have it with Vincent, David Vincent with the ball cross-field, aiming for Sean Powell, doesn't find him. Army have it back with Sean Thompson. Thompson will bring it forward. Lovely ball wide onto that left-hand side, but just a little bit too far for Lee Phillips, and gathered by Lawrence McCormack. Yeah, knocking the ball around quite nicely, the Army, and then they tend to go one side and then try and switch it quickly and get runners in behind. So you know, so far, to be fair to them, they've been effective. And I just think, you know, the Navy are struggling with that little ball in behind them at the moment. So they just need to settle down and maybe drop a little bit and defend a little bit deeper, and then they can just pick up the pieces. Such an open game, though, isn't it? You know, yeah, I think the early goal has obviously made it like that.
Yeah, I think it's you know, that's the thing with inter-service football. If you get an early goal, it just opens up the game in both elements, because the attacking team, the momentum is with them, and they build up with confidence, and then the defending side have to open up a little bit and go for broke a little bit.
Live on Forces News Facebook and YouTube. Looks like we've got another rogue football here. Someone's been failing in their pumping up duties of the footballs by the looks. One's already gone out of the stadium. So we've got another ball. I hope they don't run out.
Blame the fourth official. One job.
Oh, we won't say that he's from the Air Force, obviously. Anyway, free kick then, right on the halfway line to the Army. Navy, though, pick it up. Played nicely forward. Nice use on this left-hand side with Sean Powell. Powell now approaching the penalty area. Goes inside as far as Elliot Holmes. Holmes looking to try and tee himself up, but well defended by the Army. Bring it clear.
There they go
and
again.
A real chase on then for Scott McCarthy.
They're doing that quickly, aren't they, that turnover, the Army. They just, you know, realising that they've got an out ball in Scott McCarthy, and they just go bang long in behind
on the counter.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, nothing wrong with that. You know, it's just, but great for us, something to be aware of for next week.
You should see the frantic writing that's going on here in the press box tonight.
Gaffer's got his notebook out.
Yeah, he has.
Sad thing is, I can't read my own writing.
Here's McCarthy. Plays the ball wide to Thompson. Thompson trying to tee himself up, but the Navy will get it clear. Oof. Tenacious tackling from both teams. Ball goes out of play. Throw into the Royal Navy. Trailing here by a goal to nil. Thomas. Long ball forward. Can't find, though, Powell. And it's the Army who have it. Just need a bit frantic from both teams at the moment. They just need to calm it down a bit. Vincent, though, with a long ball through, just trying to go right down the middle. Nice bit of control from Girdwood. Looks like the Navy captain, Danny Kerr, he's sort of gone back into a more defensive role. He's looking after things in the central defence. That's obviously the change that they've had to make. So Danny Kerr really marshalling things at the back now. Not the tallest of players, but
no, but great skipper, great leader. You know, leads by example. Certainly doesn't shy away from a tackle, and you know exactly what you're going to get with Danny.
Yeah, great player, great leader.
Feeney misses out to that
it's a great
pass
tackle.
that rather laid him short, but here come the Navy again with Elliot Holmes. Army, opportunity. A lot of space for them going forward. Good defensive work, though, by the Navy.
Really well, Scott.
Yeah, just keeping them at bay.
Done really well there, just to pin it. Held off 3 challenges and...
Well, a hopeful ball forward there by Sam Atkinson. Well-known player, of course, in the UCAF team.
Oof.
My goodness me, that could have gone anywhere, couldn't it?
Yeah, little ricochet.
Snedden, all he needed was a half chance, and he could have been on the end of that. Alan Snedden, who's come in this evening for Sanchez Jans Baker, who picked up that injury midway through the first half last week at Fratton Park.
So what's interesting, John, is now both teams are playing the same formation. So they've both gone into a 4-2-3-1, which you know, it becomes a battle of the wits now, and who's better in the shape.
Well, it's a lovely cross over there from Harry Beckley, but no one on the end of it. Army, though, will have the throw-in, which Lee McCombie will take.
Great work getting into that area as well with the run, getting the ball in, works out really well.
McCombie then with the throw to McCarthy. Back to McCombie again. Sabo then getting that cross in. Nice skill there, great control from Holmes. But the Army looking dangerous here. There's a few gaps appearing for them. Lovely touch forward from Beckley again. Neither side really dominating possession. It's so close at the moment in terms of possession.
Now you're in. Unlucky.
That was quite a strong challenge there from Girdwood on the right back on Matty Evans. The referee said it was an unfair challenge.
But great football. That's the first time that you know, they popped it quickly and broken out a little bit and tried to use a little bit of pace. But that's the first time they've controlled that combination play in that middle of the park there.
I think both teams are enjoying playing on this pitch, aren't they?
Oh, do you know what, John? It makes such a difference, you know, going back to my day and, you know, 10 years ago, how we've evolved, you know, service football, and, you know, going back to last week's game, playing at Portsmouth and Fratton Park, playing here at Aldershot Town, playing at Shrewsbury Town, you know, on some of the plough fields that we've played on over the, you know, last 20 years. Do you know what? It just shows how good our players are when you give them a good surface, and you know, we can play, but all 3 services play nice and attractive football.
What you're saying, Chris, is back in my day, you know, you've never had it so good. That's what he's actually, that's what he's saying to you.
Yeah. Should see some of the grounds we play on a Saturday. It's not like we come to Aldershot Town every week and experience it. It's a real privilege and pleasure for us to play here as well, and you know, we know it makes a massive difference.
Yeah.
It's never good enough to play on a pitch like this, John. I'd have been found out.
Don't believe you. Here come the Navy then, with Dave Vincent. That's a lovely ball across field, aimed at Harry Girdwood. And here's Glendon. Late challenge then on Alan Snedden, which referee doesn't like.
At you.
Is that going to be a yellow card? I don't think so. There's been some meaty challenges, but nothing I think that we wouldn't have expected in this one tonight. Just in case you just joined us, live here on Forces News Facebook and our YouTube channel, Royal Navy trailing here to A really well taken goal from Scott McCarthy after 10 minutes. Which the Army therefore have this lead, but it's very, very close. Both teams have come close. The Navy coming close as well. A terrific save from Luke Kearney to deny Elliot Holmes. And it's Holmes who's got the free kick now for the Navy. Plays it in.
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's a great ball.
That could have been superb, couldn't it?
Yeah, it was a great ball in, great whip. Just unfortunately, bounced off the probably slick surface, and Navy couldn't quite get around the back post.
So, Luke Kearney, 12 years now in Army football, which is a terrific record. In fact, there's several who've given an awful lot. I think a couple now with at least 10 years experience, and that makes all the difference with the youth they have. And that's great work from Thompson, but a brilliant tackle. Some meaty challenges going in, but fair, says the referee.
Two great challenges there. Yeah, really strong challenges to win the ball back, and then the follow-up from the Army. So, you know, really competitive, what would be expected from an inter-service game.
Powell then leaves the throw to Rhys Thomas, right in front of the dugouts in the main stand here at the old recreation ground in Aldershot, now known as the EBB Stadium. And here's Rhys Thomas, goes back for his captain, Danny Kerr. Kerr picks it up once more, lays it forward. That's lovely one-touch football from the Navy, but well intercepted by the Army.
Oh,
Glendon loses out. Opportunity for the Army to get a second here.
Penalty.
Ball goes down, and the referee says that is a penalty. Well, Harry Beckley went through the challenge. What do you think, chaps?
Yeah, all day long, that square pass from right back inside to the centre half. You know, you can't, suicide, isn't it, playing a square ball inside. Just gets nicked by the centre forward. You're completely outnumbered, unbalanced, and he's driven. And unfortunate of him, sort of tackled from behind.
Well, to be fair, not too many complaints from the Army about that. It was a clear penalty. So the opportunity for the Army then to double their lead here. Sean Thompson, just approaching the half hour in this game. Thompson then against McCormick. Shoots, sends the keeper the wrong way.
Great
Army 2 are Royal Navy 0.
Great finish. Cool, calm, collected, big penalty. You know, that's a big goal in this game.
It really is.
There goes our 0-0, John.
Well, exactly. yeah. I'm afraid so. But there's still loads of time, of course, for the Navy to get back into this game here. And, you know, to be fair, they've matched the Army in terms of possession, haven't they, so far? They had a couple of chances, but, you know, the Army have taken those two. Really well taken early goal, and the penalty sending the keeper the wrong way.
I think they work the ball into good areas, the Army. You know, this final third, they're making it count. Those chances, making them count a little bit more. Clearer shots on goal.
Yeah. And I don't think there's too much doubt that the Navy really are missing Pete Bradley, who's had to go off. He's, you know, a major rock in their defence.
Yeah.
They've had to reorganise.
Yeah, Green. I think you know, if they're certainly missing Sanchez up front, who it gives them a big focal point. And as everybody saw last week, he was a big part of their game plan. So, you know, now they just haven't got that target man to hold it up. Exactly what the Army have done with Scott McCarthy. You know, they've put it up there, it sticks, and he gives them an option to play off. And he's
even at this early stage, the next goal is going to be absolutely crucial. Oh, and it's a chance for a third for the Army, and he's not going to miss that, is he? Scott McCarthy wins the rebound and the deflection. It was really unfortunate then on Lawrence McCormick, who came out. He thought he cleared it, but the ball went in the direction of McCarthy. He's got his second goal, and suddenly it's 3-0 to the Army.
big mountain to climb now for the Navy, so be very interesting what they do tactically now. I think it's a little bit going for bust. You've got to try and get back into the game, but again, one ball, you know, Scott, great movement, spun off the shoulder, and, you know, unfortunately, goalkeeper just a little bit late to it, ricocheted, and, you know, when the looks going your way, you get the rebound, and he slots it home nicely.
Oh, I'll stick up for the Navy keeper there. I think he's unlucky. I think he had to come out there, left exposed. You know, Scott McCarthy's got a one-on-one either way if he stays in the line or not. His favourite to score, so he's come out, and fair play. He's
absolutely nothing he could do about it. Nothing he could do. Jamie Doig says Navy sinking in this first half. Well, you would say that, Jamie, wouldn't you, being ex-Army or a staff sergeant in the Army that you were. Mal Roberts is watching. Good evening to you, Mal. Looking forward to working with you this coming weekend for the beginning of the Inter-Services Rugby Championship, of course, down in Plymouth, where we will be for both the women's and the men's games down at Brickfield Stadium. That's the opening matches in this season's Inter-Services Rugby Championship. And Mal Roberts will be joining us on the commentary. Looking forward to that very much indeed. And but we're focusing very much on football. The Royal Navy with an awful lot to do here. They're 3-0 down, and we've only been playing for half an hour of this Inter-Services match. What can they do? I was going to say the third goal is, just about to say in commentary that the third goal is crucial. We got the third goal, it's gone to the Army. And it's going to be very difficult for them.
Yeah, absolutely, long way back for the Navy, and you know, at the minute I don't see a threat. You know, I don't think bar the one shot that Luke's tipped over the bar, I can't really recall the Army getting it. The Navy getting in behind the Army. So you know, it's going to be really difficult.
But they won't give up. Here's Alan Snedden. Plays the ball inside, looking to try and find his man, trying to find Holmes, but he doesn't. All he does is find an Army player, and it's just really wide open in that midfield. And the problem, of course, is that, you know, with Danny Kerr having to go into that sort of more defensive role from the central holding midfield that he usually plays, it has left some gaps, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's, you know, it was a big blow losing the centre half in the first half, and then like you say, Danny's had to do what a captain does and fill in a hole, and you know, where you gain Danny's experience at the back, you lose it in the middle of the park, and that engine and that organisational skills. So you know, but unfortunately that's football.
That's it. His game is getting on the ball in the middle of the park, and you know, getting the ball up higher up the pitch for the Navy.
Loads of space in midfield there, of course. Lovely ball out onto that left-hand side. The referee says offside, or offside decision. So the pass from Sam Atkinson. But it's been a very useful area for them, that left-hand side, isn't it, for the Army in the first half?
Yeah, Lee Phillips has been a little live wire down there. You know, been really impressed with his movement. And what they've done really well is kept the width. So he's always been an out ball.
Here's Glendon, plays it back inside to his captain, to Danny Kerr. Good to see Danny playing tonight. Best wishes to his family. A difficult time for them at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we echo that from certainly from the RAF as well. You know, he's a stalwart for service football, and we wish, pass our condolences to his family, and wish him all the best.
Ryan Paddock says game over. Well, maybe not quite. Never over until it's over. And here are the Navy into the box. Great work from Holmes, goes down. Won't get a penalty for that, though. It was great defensive work from the Army. Yeah, but nice little clip in behind the Army, and that's sort of, you know, one of the first balls that they've actually put in behind the two centre halves, and but well covered from. Was it the 5? I think it was actually the centre half that made a great tackle, but. Yeah. First time they've hurt him in behind. Yeah, Craig Stevenson making the challenge. Here's Kerr. Plays that ball wide. Lovely control from Sean Powell. Paul on the edge of the box. Maybe looking to go alone. Plays it back to his substitute. Just wide from Kieran Feeney. Well, just in the last few minutes, the Navy just showing that they're not out of this game at all. No, well, and they've got to go for it. You know, it's...
it's a hard one because you might as well lose 6-0, to be honest. You know, you've got to get into the game, haven't you? You know, you've got to go a little bit bust.
Well, they're certainly giving it a go, that's for sure. Trailing by 3-0. Around about 10 minutes left in this first half. If you've just joined us, you've missed an exciting first 35 minutes of this game here in this Inter-Services Senior Men's Championship. Army then bringing it forward now with Hind. Plays it wide onto the right-hand side. And here's Thompson trying to round his defender. Trying to get past Thomas. Still jockeying with it. That'll be into the hands of the keeper.
See, I think the Navy frontmen are just too deep. You know, they keep coming into this, you know, with struggling to get out.
Well, here's Feeney. And Vincent. Back then to the right back to Nick Glendon. And he'll find Feeney again. For Vincent. He picks up the 1-2. Powell coming into the centre of the game. Out wide to Rhys Thomas. Army defending really stoutly, though. Not much of a way forward for them. And will the Army again come through on the break? Great work from McCarthy, who's on a hat-trick, of course.
It's been a handful this first half, hasn't he?
Has.
You know, he's been ruthless. He's been lively. He's held the belt, held the ball up really well for the Army. I think he's been a real revelation for them this first half. Looks really dangerous.
Really effective on and off the ball, making great runs, getting people in really strong areas up the pitch.
That was a great ball from Elliot Holmes, just a little bit too far for Sean Powell to control and collect. But again, the Navy using the width well, but you're quite right that what they're lacking at the moment is just that sort of last striking bit in the middle of the.
It's just that cutting edge, isn't it? In the final third, you've got to risk passes and be brave, and you know, try and be inventive. And they're just a little bit, you know, that final ball. But easy for us to say. I thought we were exactly the same last week. You know, it was that quality in the final third.
The difference being, of course, that the Navy are trailing by 3-0. A very late penalty, wasn't it, at the end of the first half after your very even first half against the Navy. Yeah. Two very different matches. Yeah. Absorbing in every way, but the Army then their tails up. I suppose one of the big issues for them might be complacency, but I would doubt it. I would doubt whether they'll get complacent. No,
not at all. I think you treat every game as if it's a cup final. So, you know, the Army will prep for our game next week in exactly the same way that they've probably prepped for this one. So, you know, once you've done this one, it's done and dusted. You're concentrating on the second game.
Army bringing it forward. Here's Matty Evans. Nice ball played out onto this right-hand side to Beckley. Beckley back to Thompson. And here's Evans again. A long charge forward. Eventually they're collected by the Navy. Nicely working their way out of defence. And eventually McCormick decides to go for the long kick. Referee says that is a foul, and he's given the free kick to the Army. I think it was for the initial challenge, wasn't it, by Elliot Holmes there?
Would have to be,
yeah. Not sure about that one. I thought it was the other way, and then. But
are we talking 6 of one, half a dozen of the other?
Yeah, absolutely. Good decision by the referee.
Pavey says, "Come on, the Navy." Joanne Academy says, "Well done, Scott McCarthy." And Mark Richards says, "Can the Navy score?" There's no question mark there, but we'll put a question mark by that. But it's the Army then with an opportunity with this free kick. Taken by their number 8.
Dangerous.
Goalkeeper comes, misses it, but it's eventually cleared. Atkinson's free kick causing all sorts of damage inside that Royal Navy box.
Should have been an Army throw-in.
Absolutely, and I think Lino's even called it the wrong way as well. So.
Scooby Lockie says, go Navy. Daniel James Hustler Esquire says, well worked goal. And a claim, have we not got VAR? No VAR tonight, Winian, I'm afraid. And Sam Wright says, Frida says, Jack Wright is driving her to drink in that defence. So keep all those messages coming in. The Green Knights, hello from Canada this evening, supporting the Army. Wherever you are around the forces world, it's great to have your company tonight. Free kick then to the Army, which once again will be taken by Sam Atkinson, aimed onto that right-hand side of the field. Right-hand side, yeah, sorry, getting my left from my right. But it's the Navy who will collect it. Nice turn there for them by Alan Snedden. But lack of control. Army just a little bit quicker on the ball at the moment, looking very, very confident indeed. And why wouldn't they be? They're 3-0 up here. Scott Hind leaves it for his central defender, for Craig Stevenson. Bit of a sky from Atkinson up into there. He'll get it back. Nice control from Sam Atkinson. Brilliant play from him. Lays it wide onto the left-hand side for Lee McCombie. Chasing down on that far side of the field. He would have been a good option, would have been McCombie, but no offside. Lee Phillips didn't see him. Been really impressed with Lee McCombie in this first half. He's looked very, very sharp down on that left-hand side. Setting up the first goal for the Army on 10 minutes. What can the Navy do then in these last few minutes of the first half? Trailing by 3-0. That's nice work from Feeney. He's brought down. Referee says free kick.
There's a chance, dangerous area.
Opportunity possibly.
Yeah, big opportunity. Whether they try and float one in or a little clever set piece, but really ideally for a left footer in there. But
Elliot Holmes has stood over it. I think he's going to be the
key man to take it.
Probably try and put Luke Kearney under some pressure here.
Well, you'd have looked into the white of his eyes the other night, wouldn't you, when he was taking that penalty?
For a moment, I thought I had him. So, but credit to him. It's well taken penalty.
Big chance here for the Navy. They be perfect time to put a little bit of pressure on, get one back.
If they can get a goal back here, it will certainly give them some heart going into half-time. 3-man wall, 4-man wall there for the Army. Being marshalled by their goalkeeper, Luke Kearney. Holmes with a free kick, goes low. And
unlucky and well gathered.
Yeah, Luke Kearney got his wall absolutely right, but the ball did get through.
Yeah,
counts as a shot on target.
Yeah, chance.
And Kearney will play it forward now. We'll have a few minutes of stoppage time. Obviously, there was that injury to Pete Bradley, which needed a little bit of attention. In fact, with Pete having to leave the field. So I'd imagine we'll have 2 or 3 minutes at least of stoppage time at the end of this first half.
Offside called there. So two interesting team talks. One, can you get us back in the game? And one, do you keep doing what you're doing? So, you know.
It will certainly be a contrast, I would have thought, in terms of team talks. Don't forget, at half-time, we'll be having a review of other forces sport around, including, of course, some extended highlights from yesterday's women's game. If you missed that, it ended 5-2 to the Navy. Pretty different scenario at the moment. Navy taking the free kick quickly, but I think the referee will pull it back.
He's allowing it.
No, I think he is pulling it back because he was in the middle of having a long chat with the Army players after a free kick. The Navy wanting to take it quickly. The referee says no chance. Yeah, we'll have some highlights for you from the women's game played here last night. It looks like a yellow card, yeah. So into the book goes Sam Atkinson. First yellow card of the evening.
Two minutes of stoppage time.
A couple of minutes, as we suggested there might be. So Holmes then with the free kick. Aimed in and well headed clear, brilliantly headed clear by the Army. And that'll be safely into the hands of Luke Kearney, the goalkeeper. The traditional swallow dive that seems to be the goalkeeper's motto these days.
Certainly at 45 minutes. Eat up those seconds.
Certainly at 90 minutes.
Yeah.
For that.
Floated ball in. Important that the defence handles that well, and Matty Evans did handle it extremely well, with the marauding Sean Powell coming in there, who would have picked up any opportunity there. But the Army with a 3-0 advantage as we head towards half-time. That will be another free kick and another challenge from Sam Atkinson, who's just seen a yellow card. Vincent then, David Vincent with this free kick then for the Navy, and everyone going forward. Only a couple of players back for the Navy. Everyone in the
Nick Glendon going
Army
up.
half. Yeah, Nick Glendon, who can head the ball.
Yeah, just offers that little bit of height. There he is.
It's aimed for Glendon, but great defence from Craig Stevenson, gets it clear. The Army maybe with an opportunity then on the break, but that, again, great defence from Jack Wright there, just anticipating the danger.
Oh, well defended.
Army, though, bringing it clear for themselves. It's a good challenge.
Well played.
Brilliant play. Really impressive from Wright. Now, what can the Navy do here? Ball flicked forward, aim for Holmes, but the Army defence then anticipating that. The ball rolling harmlessly out of play. And it will be a goal kick right at the end of this first half. We played nearly the 2 minutes of stoppage time.
There it is.
In fact, that is half-time here, and a very satisfactory first half for the Army. Would you not say, gentlemen?
Would you not say it? Well, you know, they'd obviously taken that going, you know, from the start, but I don't know about you, but does 3-0 flatter them almost? Is it two gifts from the Navy there?
Yeah, a little bit. But to be fair, they deserved it. They've been the better side. They've popped the ball around. They've taken their chances when they have. You know, but you know, if I'm being brutally honest, I think the Navy have been a little bit off it, and I think they just need to be a little bit more competitive. They need to gamble a little bit more in the final third, and you know, show that. And I don't mean it in a footballing term. That little bit less lack of respect for the Army, and just ruffle them up a little bit and get into them. But you know, we give credit where credit's due. I think the Army have been fantastic. They've taken their chances and played some really good football.
I think Scott McCarthy's had a fantastic half for the Army. He's really, you know, gotten the ball in dangerous areas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's really important then. The two-team talks absolutely vital then as we roll into half-time here. Be interesting to know what the two managers are going to be saying at half-time. If you were 3-0 down, Andy, what would you be saying to your boys at the moment?
I don't think it'd be safe for the.
Would there be a teacup rolling around?
Yeah, I'm not sure we can say the certain words on live on the air. But you know, you've still got to remain positive, because you know, you get one back early and you're back in the game. You know, and goals breed momentum, breed confidence. So, you know, I'd probably, rather than, you know, once you've had your 2-minute rant, you know, I think it's about being positive and looking at how you can change the game. Because like I alluded to earlier, it's a 4-2-3-1. The Navy are doing the same thing, so it's like a game of chess. They're just cancelling each other out. So it's now being brave and going, what can we do to get back in this game? So do you change it tactically? Do you change personnel? Do you change your philosophy? Do you maybe go a little bit longer and you know, crash the ball a little bit higher up the pitch, put the back four under pressure and play off scraps? You know, there's 101 things that go through your brain, but you know, I'm sure Mark's got plan A, plan B, plan C already penciled out. And you unfortunately, as a manager, you do prep for these scenarios. You know, you prep for being 1-0 down, 2-0 down, 3-0 down. So it'll be interesting what his playbook's like. A good manager's insights. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. Chris Pollitt-Briggs and Andy Kutcher. Back with you, of course, for a good time for the second half. But while we're at half-time, let's check out some other Forces sport, shall we? On this Wednesday evening here in Aldershot. Back with you very soon.
bouncing around in the shot. The goalkeeper just about made the save. I think it was McDonnell who fired it in on goal. Whipped in, and the header, and it's in. The Navy do make it count. The goalkeeper came for it, didn't get near it, Burnfield. Just trying to make out the goal scorer. I've been told it might be number 8, actually. It should be Katie Shorten. You did mention her height advantage. Widows will chase this down and get there, and the goalkeeper came. Widows went down, and it's a penalty. Daisy Burnfield came and didn't get there for the second time in the game, and Widows, well, she's looked lively and she's proven it. Widows then. Can she keep her composure? Yes, she can. Jade Widows makes it 2-0 to the Navy, and the Army, well, they've got a lot of work to do, and the RAF must be licking their lips right now. Bannister whips it in towards the near post, and it's gone in again. It's 3-0. The Navy are in dreamland right now. That might have just gone all the way in, by the way, from Bannister. We're not sure if it took a deflection. It's gone for goal there, by the way. Well, nothing else seems to be working at the moment, so why not?
Might as well have a go.
Now the Army are starting to play their football. Good ball over the top as well. And it's Imogen Fisher who's gone for goal. Yes! Stunner. It is a brilliant goal from Imogen Fisher. And that, we just said, something special to ignite the Army attack. Imogen Fisher provides it. Bannister.
Nice play by Bannister there.
Really good play.
Great control, just to lay it off.
Perrin's ball in is very good too, and McDonald's on the end of it. And for her, that's a very, very good opportunity.
Yeah, she's getting way too much time.
That's a good flick on now, and she's in. Really
great
good
stop by Daisy, but that, again, that was too easy.
McDonnell as well, not the player you want to give it to. Off she goes, and she takes an early stroke.
I thought that was in for a second.
Jones looking to spin, not there, not there. Jade Widows still, and that is the fourth for the Navy, and game over potentially.
Yeah, Courtney Jones just caught there.
And now the Army bring it forward. Good cross in, it's touched onto the bar, and it's in.
Come on.
But that's what they'll need. Parker does well. Still onto it. Parker goes for goal. Oh.
I thought that was in.
Finding a cross. Ball. And the header on, and the keeper, well, I think it was just dropping wide, but she didn't know that. And Eilish Brogan did enough. It'll be a corner. Parker, though, is onto that for the Army, and that's a good ball. Fisher. She's on a hat-trick, by the way. Imogen Fisher. Oh. The Army challenging, but the Navy happy to play, and that's a great ball by Shorter, and Boylan's in behind, and Boylan has hit the post. Whipped in, keeper's come towards it.
Go on.
Not got. Oh. She does eventually, Eilish Brogan. Widows has got onto that one, and she does have Shorter with her as she can find the pass. Widows is around the goalkeeper, and she's hit the post, and maybe chose the wrong option. Widows is in behind here, she is onside, and this to cap off a brilliant Navy night. Jade Widows has a hat-trick, and the Navy, it is their night. It is a night to remember. It's a night they will talk about for years and years and years. They have 5 away to the Army.
Big play coming back to Lacey. So pretty exciting action then last night here at Aldershot with the women's match in, and a comprehensive victory for the Royal Navy women, beating the Army by 5-2. Sets us up very nicely, of course, next week now for the deciding fixture there. If the Army can beat the RAF, who of course had a 3-0 win against the Navy in the opening fixture, then it will be the Royal Navy who could win their very first ever Inter-Services Women's Championship. I'll talk to Chris about that in just a few moments' time, and also Andy. We're just here at half-time, of course, if you just joined us. 3-0 the score at the moment to the Army here at the interval, and it's been a really excellent first half, particularly if you're supporting the team in red. Now, though, let's turn our attention, shall we, to some boxing action, which happened last night in Cyprus. And an exciting night of the All-Cyprus Army boxing semi-final in Episcopi last evening between the hosts, 1 Lancs, and Decalia-based 1 Royal Anglian. The first to 5 wins would claim a place in next month's Army finals. A strong start for the Anglians, who went on into the interval having won 3 bouts, one of which was the light middleweight contest. Their boxer, Lance Corporal Cocker, beating Corporal Rogerson Bromley by a technical knockout. But there was no room for complacency. By the final bout, 1 Lancs had 1 Royal Anglian. They were level with 4 wins each. And so it went to the deciding 9th fight at super heavyweight, and it couldn't have been closer between Private Diggins and Kingsman Tamani. And it was the Viking, Barry Diggins, who was declared victorious by a split points decision from the judges. Amidst the high competition, the 2 units came together last night on the evening to support a really worthy cause. Boxers from both sides wearing pink t-shirts in aid of a former Viking who's raising funds for his daughter to undergo clinical trials for a brain tumour. But 1 Royal Anglian, who have never got past the semi-final stage before, will meet either 1 Yorks or 2 Para, who will be matching up against each other next Tuesday in Colchester. And this year's Army final, which will be showing here live on Forces News, YouTube and Facebook on Thursday the 27th of April. Definitely one for the diary, but great news, and thanks indeed to Sophie out there in Cyprus for bringing us those pictures from Episcopi Cyprus from last night's opening semi-final in this season's Army Boxing Championship. And I say we'll have hopefully some action for you next week for that second semi-final, which is happening at the Corporal Budd VC Gym over there in Colchester. Next week, that'll be the second semi-final, with the Anglians waiting the result of that one, of course, between the 2 Para and 1 Yorks. We await with bated breath. OK, back then to the football here in Aldershot, just waiting for the 2 teams to come out onto the field now. And Chris Pollitt-Brigg is with me, alongside me here on the commentary position. Chris, you know, great performance in the first half from the Army. They're totally in control of this match, but you just get the feeling that if the Navy could score, they've had some opportunities. If they could get a goal, it could make a really exciting second half.
That's what they need, they need momentum, don't they? You know, they'll be looking for that first early goal to one, put some pressure on the Army, you know, to grow on any confidence they get from a goal. But, you know, you've seen it all in football. You see the women's result last night, you know, remarkable comebacks are possible. So we'll have to wait and see.
Well, let's take a look at one of the goals there for the Army, which was superbly taken, actually, and great work, I think, certainly for the initial goal. Scott McCarthy getting the first of his 2 goals, and he'll obviously feel that he's got an opportunity for getting a hat-trick tonight. And the way he's going, he's looking so sharp.
Yeah, certainly. I've been impressed with him. Obviously, mentioned it a couple of times in the first half. He's been really good at getting on the ball, and obviously he's been able to put the cherry on the icing on the cake by getting those 2 goals in the first half. So, sums up his performance.
Now, you'll clearly be watching this from the point of view of the RAF goalkeeper for next week, and obviously. I'm sure that a lot of the rest of the lads are watching this evening, particularly your defensive lads, and thinking, hey, these guys are a bit of a handful tonight. We've got to be very, very careful next week.
We'll have to work hard. I mean, there's obviously no room for complacency. We've seen what can happen. If he gets a run on the defenders, he's pretty handy. He'll get an early shot off, and he got an early goal against us last year. We remember that as well, and a couple of chances. So we'll be well alert to him and the other players playing off him.
You'll also be well aware of the 4-1 victory that you had last season as well on this stadium.
I mean, we're not going to be, we're approaching it a new game. Obviously, we've got that sort of confidence boost from the previous inter-services, but it's a cup final. It'll be a completely different fixture next week. I'm sure of it.
Well, it is going to be like a cup final. I mean, obviously, so much to play for. You've got to win.
Yeah.
The Army will know that. A draw would be enough for them. So, but I can't imagine they're going to sit back and play for a draw, knowing the way the Army have been playing tonight.
I mean, they can certainly afford to, pull in tight and, try and stop the Navy coming forward and attacking. They might change their approach in the second half to, limit the chances and see out the win with the 3-goal cushion they've got. But yeah.
Okay, well, we're ready to go, I think, for this second half. Both teams are out on the pitch. The Navy, an awful lot to do then in the second half of this fixture as we get underway here at the EBB Stadium here in Aldershot. Oh, and straight away the Navy with a chance, and it's a penalty.
It's just what they needed.
Oh, that is extraordinary. Right in these early moments of the second half, the Royal Navy are awarded a penalty kick. My goodness me, this could change the whole nature of this match. What do you think? I mean, it was very, very a bit contentious perhaps, but I think that it was a clear penalty.
I agree with the decision from what I've just seen there. I mean, I'd like to see the replay just to completely stand by that opinion, but it looked like a penalty from this position here. It's exactly what they needed.
Well, referee had no hesitation whatsoever but to give the penalty, and a goal here for the Navy. That will give them such a great opportunity.
Let's see what Luke Kearney can do.
Yeah, Kearney up against Holmes. Oh, and he's missed it. It's hit the post. Oh my goodness me, a missed penalty. Would you believe it? Well, Elliot Holmes, who was absolutely on the mark last week, he's hit the post, but it's a corner to the Navy very quickly, trying to get themselves back into it. And that's another fairly late challenge, I think, coming in from Lee McCombie.
Yeah, that was the lifeline, wasn't it? That gets you back in the game, but, unfortunately, just hit the post.
Referee will want that retaken, that free kick, but what an opportunity missed for the Navy to pull themselves back into the match. Still 3-0 then. Holmes then, he'll be gutted, won't he, that he's missed that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, big chance. It's, I'm sure Mark's half-time team talk, everything you come out into the first minute and you get that penalty and you think, here's my lifeline, and then unfortunately you don't put it away.
Free kick hammered in by Holmes there, but unfortunately for the Navy, they can't take advantage of the situation. The Army defending it well and on the break. But the Navy have it back on the halfway line. No changes made by either manager at half-time. I suspect we might see a few changes later on in the game. Of course, an enforced change for the Navy early on with Kieran Feeney coming on, taking up a midfield role with pushing Danny Kerr back into the back line. And here is Kerr on the ball.
just got a bit of a smidgen of rain coming down as well, haven't we? So it's that, you know, that'll just slicken up the surface a little bit, and maybe that one or two little mistakes with the accuracy you're passing.
Yeah, the showers have been coming in here in this part of Hampshire over the last hour or so. Nice 1-2 from Fearney, and literally again, Army having to defend their lines. Luke Kearney coming off his line, makes the challenge, makes the save. Challenge going in there from Alan Snedden. And I don't think it was an unfair challenge, but Luke has picked up an injury there. It looks like he's, I think it was just going for the 50-50 ball, wasn't it? But he's down and he's rolling around, not happy.
Yeah, he's thumping the floor. That's you know, as if he's picked up a bit of a knock there.
I think we can have a chance to have a look at that penalty again, which it was a clear penalty, but I'm sure Elliot Holmes, you know, he played the ball to the left of Luke Kearney. Kearney was going for it. And
I feel like he might have got a touch on that, to be honest.
He might have got a touch on it, but it certainly went onto the post. In fact, he must have done, because he went out for a corner, didn't it? So,
well, the referee seen him touch it then.
So in that case, a brilliant save from Luke Kearney to save the penalty.
First substitute here, not quite, a little bit confused from the fourth official, because it's 80 for 21 and we haven't got an 80 or a 21. So who is it? Number 8, is it coming off? Is that Sam Atkinson?
Yeah, it looks like Sam Atkinson is coming off.
Yeah, Sam Atkinson and Cam Story coming on.
Yeah, Cam Story coming on.
Yeah, probably a sensible move that. With I think Sam first half picked up a yellow card, didn't he? So
yep.
Do you risk that you know, that second yellow card, or you know, an unfortunate red card? And you know, I'm sure that Jimmy's saving him for next week's game.
Well, two defensive midfield swap. Story, the corporal coming on. And so the Army have one officer in their team, that's Captain Mo Sabo, working with NATO out there in Turkey at the moment, but it's good to have him here in Hampshire this evening, representing the Army, and a fearsome presence, 6'4" and a bit at the back, as the Navy try and see if they can get a goal. Have a brilliant opportunity. That's a nice touch from Alan Snedden, but
nice little bit of inventive skill there, a little back heel, and you know, nearly got Elliot Holmes in there with a third-man run. But these are the little things that the Navy have let themselves down with, just playing crossfield balls into not quite reaching their targets.
Nice control from Glendon on this right-hand side for the Navy. Feeney loses out to the substitute, and here's Thompson. He'll get it back again. Craig Stevenson, hopeful ball forward, ends up with the Royal Navy though, ends up with David Vincent. He finds his goalkeeper. You just expect an onslaught from the Navy, which might leave some holes at the back for the Army to exploit, to add even more, leading by 3-0. Here is Alan Snedden.
Yeah, well, the next goal's vital, isn't it? You know, it's I mean, it's, you know, it's pretty much game over anyway, but you know, if the Army go and nick the fourth, it's definitely game over, whereas, you know, the Navy nick one, you know, you sort of got a lifeline and you're back in it.
Jeanette Woolley very happy with the first half. Good evening to you, Jeanette. And Mark Richards is hoping that Sean Woolley will getting some game time later. We'll just see whether there'll be a few more changes for the Army. But coming forward on the Navy, that's a really good challenge then from Cam Story, making that challenge to deny Alan Snedden the opportunity. Definitely a fair challenge there. Corner comes in. Ooh. And that was a pretty
Rash clearance.
I say rash is the word, I think, from Mo Sabo there, but the danger averted for the Army then.
Good job, he executed that well, isn't it?
Here's Feeney. Back to Thomas, Rhys Thomas. And he again gets a cross in, and that ball snuffed out. Another throw for the Royal Navy, desperate to try and get themselves back into this game. Good control again from Feeney on the edge of the penalty area, still got it. Goalkeeper claims for it. Luke Kearney has gone down again after making that punch, and I got a feeling he might have just landed so awkwardly there on his shoulder.
Yeah.
That's going to be another break for a stoppage for Luke Kearney. He went down really awkwardly there. It was a very brave punch from him. Came to make that, and it doesn't look too good for him.
Yeah, great punch there, and like you say, he's just ridden the tackle and sort of been flipped upside down, but come down heavily. But I'm sure he'll get the magic sponge on and the magic water, and he'll be up and ready to go in no time.
Remember, the two teams are playing for the Mercury Cup tonight. This was the original Army-Navy game, goes all the way back to 1905, believe it or not. That was when it was first played. And then
Did you do commentary on that one, John?
I'm not that old, okay. You know, the Constantinople was the original Army-Navy trophy back in 1905, and then a few years later, in 1920, the Royal Air Force joined in. You know, because you got back into it, or you came into it as the Royal Air Force, and since then the Constantinople trophy has been the inter-services, but tonight it's the Mercury trophy that's on offer between these two teams. Just thought I'd throw that one in, you know, while we're waiting.
Good bit of knowledge.
Can't compete, can we, PV, with that knowledge?
You wouldn't want to.
No.
You've got far more important things to think about.
Yeah.
Nice bit of work then from Harry Beckley. Wins the throw-in for the Army, leading 3-0. Lee McCombie will take the throw. Here's Danny Kerr. On the end of it is Harry Girdwood. Good control, good shielding of the ball. Here's Holmes, Elliot Holmes. Nice ball out onto the right-hand side here. Finds Alan Snedden. I mean, some of the Navy's passing has been really excellent tonight. Here's Feeney.
Yeah, it's just been that final third, isn't it? That's just
eluding them a little bit.
Yeah, just
head tennis going on in the middle of the field at the moment. Story. And he still has it. It's a great run from Story. Lovely ball onto the inside, but an offside flag goes up against Scott McCarthy. But it was brilliant work then from Cam Story there. Really making, what, 20 metres?
Yeah, good 30 yard run. You know, aggressive, you know, drove into the space, opens up and unlocks doors. It commits players, certainly centre-halves, and centre-half had to step in and then he slid it in, and just unfortunately they stepped in offside.
Now an opportunity once more for McCarthy. Plays the ball wide onto that right-hand side. That's a lovely ball. Aim for Scott Hind. Scott gets there in the end, but the Navy win it back. And here's Feeney. Really nice work from the Navy. That's a free kick, says the referee. Sean Powell making plenty of ground there.
A shout out from Mrs. K, sat at home watching the game, so no doubt my analysis will give me some tactical advice when I get home for next week's game. So good on you, babe.
Any personal messages coming through for you yet? Because, you know, I'd say Brighty has his own fan club. You know, we need to start one for you, I think, Chris.
A couple of mentions from lads in the squad. Go shout out to Matthew Cape, one of the other keepers as well. He'll be, I was going to say he'll be in Akuteri, but no, I think he's hanging around in Lancaster with his feet up watching there. So shout out to KP. And I believe Mrs. PB is watching this at home as well. So
good evening, Mrs. PB. We're looking after him, I promise you.
She's probably fast asleep at this time, actually.
And so we actually had a message come through from Africa a bit earlier on in the evening. We're just trying to find that on our Facebook. If I can dig it out, I'll find it for you when we have if we have another break in play. But it's 3-0 to the Army here at Aldershot Town Football Club at the EBB Stadium here in Hampshire. Clear at the moment of rain. We've had a few showers just peppering the pitch throughout the game. Navy looking for a goal that could bring them back into the match. Here's Girdwood. And it was a run that never happened in the end from Rhys Thomas down that left-hand side. Luke Kearney seems to be okay after those 2 bits of attention he received from his coaching team. And it's a good clearance down the field, but it'll go straight to his opposite number, Lawrence McCormick. Vincent beats off one challenge. And that's a lovely ball wide onto the left-hand side. Finds Rhys Thomas. Thomas on the edge of the box. Still going for it. Tries to get the shot in. It's blocked. Holmes. Nice turn from the Navy substitute.
And out for a corner.
Feeney wins the corner. Yeah, that was good play. Really nice build-up play there from the Navy.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they found the 4 in the middle of the park, and 1 pass, 2 pass, got it out wide, and then popped one into the centre forward and caused a few problems in that Army back 4, and then they clear it and kick it out for a corner. So
we've played an hour here. Army leading 3-0, but a good punch from Kearney again. This time he gets up, not injured. Cross coming in from Holmes. A lot of work going on from the Army defence at the moment.
Navy
Vincent takes the shot.
Navy having a good little bit of
and it goes just wide.
That's better from the Navy, isn't it? Yeah. Really taking the game to the Army a little bit, and having a real go.
Yeah, it's good pressure.
Yvonne Powell says the Powell family from Mid Wales are watching and supporting the Navy. Keep on cheering for them, Yvonne. You never know. They get themselves back in. They are putting a lot of pressure on the Army at the moment, and the old adage, score, you might get more. Someone said that once. Not quite sure who. I'm not going to say what Andy Gibson has actually written here about you two. I think you're doing a great job tonight. No, I'm going to shield you from it. I don't want to,
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to the GM.
But great to have the banter coming around.
I'm surprised he's managed to even get it online. His technical ability. Trying to make yourself popular with the manager anyway. That's a really good move to make tonight. With just a week to go before the RAF play the Army in what will be the deciding fixture in this Inter-Services Championship. But as it stands, Royal Navy are losing 3-0, and looks like we're going to see Sean Woolley coming onto the pitch very shortly, which will please his dad Michael. That's a bit of Scott McCarthy's just gone down quite severely there and holding the bottom of his back.
He's not happy, is he?
No, he just literally, he was chasing a ball that went out for a throw-in and just went straight to ground. So I don't think it was a challenge or anything. But
yeah, it is Scott McCarthy, which will be very disappointing for him. He's it's an off-the-ball thing. Yeah, Mick Woolley says, get Sean Woolley on. Well, he's coming on very shortly, Mike, OK? And we can't really let Sean know that Dad's watching. We could shout from here, but I don't think it would be very politic to do that. Kyle Castle says, up the Army. Chris Lawn, go Army, he says. Sol Roche, get Manny on. That's Sol is Manny's brother. They both played together in the Inter-Services Under-23 Championship. But Manny got his chance last week. I would be surprised if we don't see him making an appearance at some stage in this game. But Sean Woolley is preparing to come on for the Army as they lead this match by 3-0, but the Navy have dominated this second half so far, and they might consider themselves to be a bit unlucky to be behind. If that penalty had gone in, my goodness me, it would have been fascinating stuff. But as it happens, they still trail by 3-0 here. That was quite a meaty challenge there. Nick Glendon going in and needed to make it. Thompson shields off a couple of challenges, loses out eventually, and the referee said he was fouled. And is that going to be the opportunity for the change to be made?
Looks like Scott McCarthy's all right. He's just rubbing the bottom part of his left back, of his left side of his back. But
with 2 goals, he won't want to come off unless it's absolutely necessary, will he?
No, absolutely not.
Glendon with an important header. Danny Kerr shields the ball out of play for the throw to the Army. And will this be changeover now? No, the match still going ahead. Couple of challenges going in there the referee didn't like, and a couple of Army players are down on the pitch at the moment, and the Army, I think, will have a free kick here. So it looks like there's going to be a changeover made. I'm just trying to see who looks like they're coming off. It looks like number 10 for the Army's coming off. So Harry Beckley is going to be making way very shortly, I think, for Sean Woolley. Actually, it's not Sean Woolley.
No, it's not, is it?
It's actually
Greg Peel.
Greg Peel's coming on, yeah. But Sean was all lined up, ready to come on, but not at this particular moment. But it's a dangerous free kick then. Lee Phillips is set to take this for the Army as a substitution is made.
Yeah.
So Beckley off and Greg Peel is on for the Army. Free kick then, which is being taken now by Phillips.
Oh, wow.
High and wide. No danger at all to the Navy goal with that one. It remains 3-0 in favour of the British Army against the Royal Navy here. In this inter-services middle match of the Senior Championship for the men. And don't forget, next week we'll have both the men's and the women's games live for you, which very conveniently are being played miles and miles apart. The women's match at Leek Town FC and the men's game will be played at Shrewsbury Town's new meadow. But here come the Navy.
Oh, great ball.
Ball in.
Got finished.
Oh, and Holmes just in the wrong place. In fact, it was Sean Powell. Opportunity then gone for the Navy, and that was a brilliant run actually down this right-hand side, wasn't it? From
and it was
Alan Snedden.
Great feet.
But here come the Army now, and the great opportunity for them. Ball comes into the substitutes to Peel, but he can't connect end to end.
Yep.
Here's Kerr. Crossfield. Elliot Holmes. So much space in that middle of the field for both teams. Both teams still really going for the Navy, clearly having to go for it. Vincent plays the ball across the field, but it's a little bit inaccurate, which unfortunately Sean Powell can't make. Nice work again from McCarthy, who's been absolutely outstanding for the Army tonight. It's been brilliant, and he's into the penalty area. Still going.
Bounce.
Shoots. Oh, and it's just wide. What a brilliant run that was from Scott McCarthy. Has been such a handful tonight.
He's gone down again.
Yeah, and this time...
It's on his left hamstring there.
Yeah, I think he's gone down again.
Yeah. I think that could be his game run tonight.
Yeah.
Which will be a huge shame, because he's been absolutely brilliant. If we were looking at early on for a player of the match, I think we wouldn't have to look too much further than Scotland.
Yeah, he's calling for it now as well.
Yeah, he's now signalling he needs to come off, isn't he? His hamstring's gone. If it's a hamstring, then I'm sure you, as the RAF, will be not disappointed about that.
No, but you know,
you don't want to see players getting
no,
each other,
absolutely
do you?
not. But you know, let's hope he's, you know, we want to see the best players out on from both teams out on the pitch. You know, I'm sure the Army would say the same about us with a couple of our players that are fantastic footballers. You know, service football is about getting the best players out for the inter-services. And,
absolutely.
Hopefully he's fit next week.
But you're right. Let's hope it's it puts him on the bench.
Oh, that was a real attempt on goal there from Cam Story. Saw the goalkeeper off his line and went for it, and he wasn't that far away.
Saw the shadow of the ball on the post there. It looked pretty dangerous.
It was very dangerous. Can the Navy get themselves back into this? Here for them is Story again, who's made a real impact since he came on the pitch not too long ago. Phillips back to his left back, back to Lee McCombie. McCombie will play it cross field. Stevenson and Sabo back to his goalkeeper. And Luke Kelly. Wasn't the best of clearances, was it? But Sabo again. Maybe he'll have another go at this one.
Been a more even half this second half, and I think, you know, fair play to the Navy. They've come out and had a real go, you know. And I think, as you expressed earlier, John, I think if that penalty goes in, it's a completely different game, and the pressure's on. And you know, but to be fair to them, they've had a real go, and
will continue to do so, I'm sure, because you know, Mark Ferry will not want his team to give up at all.
Scott McCarthy down again.
Yeah, I think that is probably his game over, and a couple more changes likely to be happening for the Army very shortly. Jordan Brooks and Sean Woolley preparing to come on. So yeah, it's Scott McCarthy going off and Jordan Brooks. Sorry, not Jordan Brooks, it's Andy Matthews here who's going on.
He's a small lad.
And in fact, the Navy are making a change as well, and Manny Roche is coming on for the Navy. So yeah, the changes for... I'm just trying to see, it's a bit confusing because they're all making changes at the same time. But
I think it's Sean Woolley and Andrew Matthews.
Yeah. Matthews coming on, Woolley coming on.
Is that Matty Evans coming off?
Evans coming off, yeah.
Matt Evans off. And the change for the Navy, it looks like Nick Glendon has come off, doesn't it? No, he's still on. But anyway, Manny Roche is on for the Navy for these last few minutes, the last 20 minutes of this game. Still a quarter of the match to go. Army 3-0 to the goods. That's a great turn. A couple of players going down, appealing for a penalty. Referee says no.
No, it wasn't a penalty.
Thompson jinking his way through, but the ball the wrong side of the post as far as the Army are concerned. Army again, though, charging forward into the penalty area. That's great work from Greg Peel. Navy just with a chance then. This game opening out as we speak. And here's Powell. Lovely ball through from David Vincent. Trying to find Manny Roche to get into the game early doors for him. Danny Kerr. And Vincent, and across to Jack Wright. Loads of open space for both of these teams to work on. Great challenge from Jack Wright. Ball going forward, and opportunity then for Roche if he can get this ball on the right-hand side. Challenged by the Army defence. Roche beats one man. Can he get the cross in? Looking to get a cross in, but great defensive work from the Army, from Lee McCombie. In fact, it was actually Sean Woolley, wasn't it, in the end, who's going for it?
Yeah. Just a little bit untidy now, isn't it?
It is.
The Army are sat in really, really deep.
Been quite a few changes made,
yeah,
which has probably upset the balance a little bit of both sides. But the Navy have got to go for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've seen goals scored within literally a couple of minutes of each other. So who knows? Army, though, have a 3-0 cushion here in this match. Great challenging from the Army's number 4 there, from Sean Thompson, and Elliot Holmes eventually getting it back to one of his own players. Holmes picks it up again. Outside to Nick Glendon, and Holmes once more. Trying to get the through ball, and that looked like a bit of a pull down there, I thought. A bit, challenge then from Mo Sabo. Referee says that was okay. I don't think Alan Stedden thought that.
No, I think the deflection, just that the ball went inside, and they've both tried to change direction, and unfortunately it's just tripped over, and the referee's not giving it. Probably the right decision.
Up the other end of the field, and that's going to be a free kick.
Yeah, clumsy challenge.
It was a clumsy challenge from
Nick Glendon.
Nick Glendon again, this time on Greg Peel. So it will be just, what, 20 yards out or so. Dangerous position. Anyone who can do an up and over. It looks like Sean Woolley's over the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched him mid-season. He played. He had an opportunity like this against Aldershot Town Academy when I came to watch the Army, and he scored from this range in top left-hand corner as we look at it.
So, 3-man wall set by Lawrence McCormick in goal, and this is a brilliant opportunity then for the Army to increase their lead. Woolley then with the free kick, and it's a cracker, and it's just over the bar. Just a little bit, maybe just a bit too far out for him.
Called it though.
I think it's a pretty good effort, to be fair to him.
Yeah, it was a good effort.
It's a great effort. Yeah. The tempo just dropping a little bit in this game, which will suit the Army, of course, with their 3-0 lead. Navy will just want to keep the pressure up as long as they can, because if they can get a goal, it suddenly just makes the last 15 minutes very, very interesting for all of us who are watching this game.
Great feat.
Lovely cross-field ball, again aimed for Roche. Gets the cross in. It's a really good cross, and coming in with a header.
Unlucky.
Yeah, it was Sean Powell with a header in, but really aimed straight at Luke Kearney in the end. But that was a good bit of play from the Navy, and already you can see that Manny Roche, bit of a handful on this right-hand side.
Yeah, absolutely.
As he was for you, to be fair.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it caused us a few problems, but great ball in, and do you know what? Sean Powell really attacked that.
He did, but it was good defensive work then for the Army, and Lee McCombie, you know, shielding the ball well. These two, there's quite a little battle going on between these two on the Navy right and the Army left. Danny Kerr. Here's Elliot Holmes. And Jack Wright, very impressive season he's had for Navy football, both at under 23 and the senior level here. Holmes, back to Wright. Oh, that wasn't a good ball. Into the path of
play that through
of Sean Woolley. Woolley will try and control it. Does. Back to Sabo. And you could just see a little bit of game management coming in now, maybe from the Army here. They've got the 3-0 lead. They don't need to do anything unnecessary. Not needing to drive forward as much, maybe, as they were in that first half. And I suspect Didn't expect to be 3-0 up at half-time in this game.
No, you know, and I think the second half has been a bit more of a true reflection of what the Navy are capable of. You know, they've certainly come back into the game and played their part in the second half. You know, first half, you know, Mark will be disappointed. You know, because they've always second half they left themselves no option but to chase a game, and you know, it's just a shame that they couldn't put this performance in the first half to make it a little bit more of a competitive game.
But they'll feel like they've competed throughout, but you know, just key chances and a couple of mistakes in the back for the Navy have cost them.
Well, they'll certainly keep trying. And their coaching staff this evening, Mark Ferry, Craig Horseman and Dave Berry, all ending their association with Navy football tonight. We have given them a mention, but certainly Craig, 21 years associated with Royal Navy football, and Dave, 22 years affiliation with Royal Navy football as well. And I mention as well for Mark as well, who's been a great head coach. So quite a few changes happening in Royal Navy football after this evening. We wish all three of those gentlemen all the very best. And I'm sure we'll be keeping in touch with how they're getting on, but certainly leaving the realms of Royal Navy football tonight. It won't be the way they'd have wanted to. They'd have wanted to have gone out, obviously, with a win tonight and the possibility of claiming a championship. But the Army's still going. And that was great work from Greg Peel. Got himself off the ground. And the Navy just sort of stopped for a moment there, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think everybody might have thought it was a penalty, but you know, the referee saw it from a different angle, and it was a little bit of a push in the back, but didn't give it, so play on.
Right on the halfway line is Rhys Thomas. Outside to Harry Girdwood. Thomas again. And Vincent. Vincent will lay it across here onto this right-hand side, but once again there stopping them is Lee McCombie, who's had a great game for the Army tonight at left back. Roche getting involved. Charge forward from the Army, from the Navy. Has that gone out of play? It has.
Yeah, another good ball there from Elliot Holmes.
Yeah.
Put it in a good area, and you know, forces centre halves out of there.
You certainly can't fault the build-up play, can you, from the Navy tonight?
No,
they've looked really good. Yeah. This has been a really competitive game. And can the Navy get a goal back? Just to give themselves half a chance. Well, that's a foul, and that could well be a yellow card for Nick Glendon, pulling his man down. And Greg Peel is turning into a real handful, actually, on this left-hand side, isn't he, for the Army? Nick Glendon gets away with it. Referee decides, James Hall decides that's not a bookable offence. All the officials from the Royal Air Force this evening. James Hall refereeing with James Astley and Albie Jeffrey, with Richard King, the fourth official. Holmes. Luke Kearney almost playing a sweeper's role at the moment at the back. And he's happy to be well outside his penalty area at the moment. Doesn't need to be.
Good starting position there.
But the Army, you know, really pushing forward. And again, Luke Kearney will just pick the ball up now in his penalty area. So around 9 minutes left. There'll be a little bit of stoppage time, obviously, for the substitutions that we've had. Army have done all the hard work in that first half with 3 goals. 2 of them coming from Scott McCarthy, the other one a penalty from Thomas.
Been a bit of a game of two halves. You know, the Navy have sort of been on top, had a little bit more ball possession this half, and you know, but you know, let's be honest, the Army did the hard work in the first half and sort of put the game to bed. But you know, the Navy have done well second half.
Yeah, they have. They deserve a goal, particularly for all their efforts, and they still might get one with Alan Snedden. Great work from Snedden, but it's blocked in the end, his shot, and he's a little bit disappointed about that. But still the Navy and Snedden. I think there's an offside. Yeah, I think It was Harry Goodwood had just stepped into an offside position.
Some tired legs out there now. You know, I was just at half-time. I was chatting to the Aldershot town manager in the while getting a coffee, and he was saying, you know, it's a really big pitch here, and it's sort of starting to take its toll on the players now. They look tired.
Yes.
But both teams have put a great shift in.
Yeah. Hi to Scott Jackson, who has been with us, of course, as our co-commentator for the last game. Scott, good evening to you. Said missing you all tonight as I'm on a train from the northeast, and we'll be seeing Scott next week. He'll be joining us at Shrewsbury for the concluding fixture in this Inter-Services Championship. And the two gentlemen sat beside me will be otherwise employed.
Yeah, cup final next week, John. Cup final.
And you're clearly looking forward to it. And Roche, nice work from him. Still going onto the edge of the penalty area. Takes a shot, and it's a really good effort there from Manny Roche. He was lining himself up and worked really hard to break through two defenders. Got through, got the shot in, and County had to make the save.
Good positioning.
Yeah, great positioning, great hands. But again, you know, that's the Navy being positive, wasn't it? You know, having a bit of a, you know, barging through, a little bit of great feet, and getting a great shot away. So, you know, that's just positive running.
Yeah, you'd expect nothing more, or nothing less rather, from the Navy, especially when you've got Danny Kerr as a captain.
Yeah, demands the standards, doesn't he?
Glenton with the ball forward. Again, nice control from Holmes, and here's Roche. A bit of a wayward pass then. Opportunity for the Army then with Peel and Sean Woolley. Well cut out though, that cross field ball from Powell. Kerr again, he seems to have come forward a little bit, pushing his team forward, searching for a goal, even at this late stage in the game.
Yeah, they're a proud bunch, the Navy, and you know, they'll want to nick at least one to make that score, you know, make sure it's not a duck.
Yeah. They win the free kick. Given away by Matty Evans. So the Navy have the free kick, and here's Vincent. Crossfield to Holmes, who's had a really good game. Here's Roche. Beats off one challenge, gets the low cross in. Cleared away, only half cleared in the end.
That's a clearance.
And that's a clearance.
That's a proper clearance.
And look at the run here coming from Greg Peel. He's been giving Nick Glendon a bit of a hard time throughout the evening, but Glendon will win the free kick there.
I think that's a bit of experience there.
Yes.
You know, got his body in between ball and player, and waited for the little nudge in the back and just what you call it. But that, you know, that comes with experience, games, and certainly playing at certain levels. You know, and obviously Nick's a stalwart for UCAF. So
he is indeed.
The craftsmanship of the game.
A lot of UCAF talent on show here tonight. Lovely to see Diffin Pearce here this evening as well. Diffin about to leave the Royal Air Force after a very successful time, of course, with UCAF. Heavily involved in their success in the Kentish Cup over the last few years. Couldn't quite win it last season, with the UCAF team losing out on goal difference in the end to the French. Offside. Right, offside though. Yeah, it was a nice...
Clever reverse ball.
Yeah. And it was pretty close, I think, with Sean Thompson. But again, the Navy playing a high line.
Yeah.
Just trying to get themselves, keep the momentum going.
Great distribution from Luke there. Pinged it wide, one touch, reverse pass, and you're in.
Here's Powell. Beats one man. Great work from him. And he's taken out. The referee says play on. I'm sure he's going to come back for the free kick.
Yeah, well done, referee, because he's tried to let it go there and see what develops.
Yeah, it was Lee Phillips who committed the foul, but I think Sean Powell's had a really good game for the Navy tonight. He's looked very, very good.
Yeah.
And some outstanding individual performances across both teams. this evening.
Yeah, I agree. You know, the Navy have been very organised, very good with the ball. You know, been ruthless with their chances. I thought Elliot Holmes has been fantastic for the...
Free kick comes in, and Kearney had to be at his very best to stop that one. It was a really well taken free kick as well for the Navy.
Bounce.
Elliot Holmes was the man who took the free kick, by the way, and well, it just goes to show if he could have taken that penalty and scored from there, he could have had a very interesting last few moments of this match.
Yeah, what's encouraging though, do you know what, the lad's gone and missed the penalty, and he hasn't let it affect his game. I think he's been instrumental with the Navy. He's been brave to get on the ball. He's tried to make things happen. I've been really impressed with Elliot tonight. I thought he's had a really good game.
As we say, a lot of great performances out there on the pitch this evening, which will certainly have impressed the onlookers tonight. And here's one of them, Elliot Holmes. Hopefully the missed penalty won't affect him too much. Girdwood.
Great ball.
Lovely ball forward. And lookers on the end of it. It's Danny Kerr. Just overhit it slightly. It was a difficult ball to control. He had to control it on the volley, didn't he?
Covered some yards to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, chasing your touch.
But he's moved forward now. Interesting.
That's tired legs now, isn't it? You know, tired legs
from both teams. But look at Kerr, where he's gone up front. And that was a foul. The referee says that was a free kick against in favour of Elliot Holmes.
Yeah.
Navy will take it quickly, maybe a bit too quickly. But here's Snedden on the edge of the box, tries to a bit too intricate, but it's still incredibly competitive here, the two teams. Greg Peel's I think has played really well since he came on as well. He's spread the ball wide on this left-hand side for the Army, and given the Navy real issues at the back. Christopher Moll says, well done, the Army. They're just about there.
Yeah, last 10 seconds, and what we got on the clock? 7 minutes. Is that 7 minutes? Or
7 minutes of stoppage time, yeah.
Wow.
We had a couple of breaks, injury breaks, of course, for Luke Kearney. And we've had quite a few substitutions, but yeah, 7 minutes seems pretty generous. But everyone's getting more generous with stoppage time these days, aren't they?
Well, do you know what? Then it's part and parcel of the game now. You know, it's the ball spends a lot of time out of play, and you know, when you look at the stats statistically, you know, you especially when you're chasing games, you want those minutes back. So you know, we're all for it, unless obviously you're winning.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I stand by what I've said many times before on commentaries, that I really think we should have independent timekeepers who can stop the clock, and then get it going again. And I really can't understand why we don't have independent timekeepers.
Well, it's completely made up, isn't it? I mean, there's no way. There's no way it's only 7 minutes.
No, absolutely. But there we are.
I think I read a stat though somewhere, something along the lines of the ball's only in play for about 20 minutes per half. So, you know, if we took all that into account, you'd be playing an hour per half.
Yeah, they were on about introducing 60-minute running clock, weren't they?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago.
Well, it seems to happen, you know, without too much hassle in rugby. If you have a long stoppage for an injury, or if there's clear time wasting going on, then stop the clock.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need to stop the clock all the time, but you know, if the ball goes out of play for a throw, and then you know, probably not. But you know, I think there's definitely a case for independent timekeeping. It works, you know, I say it works really well in both rugby codes. Why not introduce it in football? But the authorities are resisting that at the moment. So.
A lot of messages coming in for, you know, saying well done to the Army and congratulations on a great win. I think, you know, let's be honest, you know, need something bar short of a miracle for the Navy to get 3 or 4. But so yeah, I echo the thoughts of a lot of our listeners tonight of saying, you know, well done to the Army, great performance, you know, one job done.
But also Navy support. Helen Richardson, I know, is a huge fan, of course, of Navy football, as well as UCAF. She says, looking forward to seeing my UCAF boys back in camp in a few weeks' time, and congratulations to the Army tonight. Commiserations to the Navy as well. Jamie Doy, good evening to you again, Jamie. Looking forward to Saturday's Rugby Union footage, coverage with the Navy and RAF. Yeah, we're looking forward to that one very much as well. That's our next live action here. It never ends, you know, here on Forces News, Facebook and YouTube. Try telling that to the rest of the team who are travelling the country to bring you these live games. And thanks to all of you who tuned in tonight to watch these matches wherever you are around the Forces world. And loads more coming your way over the next few weeks, including that Army boxing final as well. We told you about the semi-final earlier on in Cyprus last night. Terrific win for One Royal Anglian, seeing off the Lancs, Swan Lancs. But here come the Army again. Foul, says there are 2 Army players go down. A couple of challenges there.
Is that a little clash with Nick Glendon and, was that Woolley?
Yeah. Yeah, Sean not happy. Found out the other day actually that Sean plays 5-a-side football with my niece's other half, believe it or not, up in Newark in Nottinghamshire.
Small world.
It is a small world, yeah. So good evening to the 5-a-side team up there. Sean, who like me can't wait for the end of the Premier League season, depending on, of course, what happens over the next few weeks.
I think he's a Leicester fan, isn't he, Sean Woolley?
Yeah, join the club.
Yeah. Could be worse, John. You could be a Forest fan. We're struggling down there as well.
You're above us in the league.
Yeah, only
by
just,
1 point.
Only just.
It's going to be so tight, isn't it, at the bottom of the Premier League?
Absolutely.
From 12th downwards. Here come the Army with an opportunity for them to finish it off, but that's a really good save from Lawrence McCormick.
Stood a ball there.
Yeah. Greg Peel must have thought that he had a great run on goal there, but excellent goalkeeping from Lawrence McCormick. 4-0 would be really harsh on the Navy, wouldn't it, tonight?
Yeah, certainly second half. I think you know, they've applied themselves. They had a real go second half and just unfortunately fell short. But yeah, you know, 4-0 I don't think would have been a true reflection of the game.
Short corner taken by Sean Woolley. Free kick goes in favour of the Army, which down there to our left-hand side. Literally into the 5th minute of stoppage time now. Just a couple more minutes of that to go, according to the timekeeper, to our 4th official this evening, to Richard King. Last throw of the dice then in this match. Can the Navy get a late goal here? Which I think would sum up their performance in the second half. They deserved a goal. They had a great opportunity, of course, with the penalty, which was missed. But the Army very keen just to play this one out of play, which Craig Stevenson does with great confidence. And we're all set, of course, then for the showdown in Shrewsbury next week. Here's Roche. He's not had a lot of change, to be honest, out of Lee McCombie since he came on, but he's still trying, still going for it. Glendon back to his keeper. Referee just having a look at his watch. Here's Powell. Gets the cross in. Nice little control from Harry Girdwood. Girdwood back to Powell again. And here's Snedden, just looking for an opportunity, but great defensive work from the Army again. That's summed up their night. They've had a terrific game at the back, really, the Army. Very little has got through. Just playing these last few moments out then with Peel. And here's another of the substitutes, Matthews. With a check of the watch, and that is all we have time for tonight here at the EBB Stadium. All the goals coming in the first half. 3 of them for the Army. They've won this inter-services match by 3-0. 2 of them scored by Scott McCarthy, with a Thomas penalty as well. And, well, it's been an excellent game, really well played by both sides.
Yeah, really good game. Yeah, really good game. And like I said, sort of the Army did the damage in the first half. You know, job done by half-time, and then it was about protecting the lead. You know, to be fair to the Navy, they've come out, had a real go in the second half, controlled the possession, created some chances. Like you say, the penalty's a massive turning point in the game. Whether if it goes in, changes the game completely. But you know, that's inter-service football. You miss those 1%, and you know, that's game over. So all credit to the Army.
And Chris, what have you learned tonight about the attacking formation that you'll be facing next week?
We've you know, we've got to work hard on it. I mean, we've obviously had the benefit of seeing them play before. You know, we match them up on next Wednesday. So you know, we'll have to. The gaffer's been taking notes. We'll have to be utilising some of those. But at the same time, you know, competing one-on-ones, winning those individual battles as ever, and you know, a little bit of luck as well.
Well, the RAF know exactly what you've got to do next week. A win will win you the championship again. A draw will be enough for the Army. So all to play for next week.
Yeah, it builds it up for a nice, exciting game, and that's what cup finals are about, isn't it? It's you know, both teams are going into it, you know, confident, full of form, and both teams have got a chance to win it. So you know, let's bring it on. We're ready.
Well, the trophy that is up for grabs this evening is the Mercury Cup, competed for by these 2 teams, and that will be presented very, very shortly. We'll just stick around for the presentation, shall we? The trophy is on the field at the moment. I can see it being carried around. But congratulations to all the players tonight who've given an awful lot to entertain the supporters who come along here this evening to Aldershot to enjoy the game. The Army obviously very, very happy with the 3-goal lead, and it was a really tall order, wasn't it, for the Navy to come out for the second half when they you know, conceded those 3 goals in the first half. But you know, they had that penalty so close.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever likely for them. Even if that penalty went in, you know, they still had to work out for them to recover 2 goals beyond that. But you know,
well, so the presentations are going to be made very shortly. First of all, I think to the officials who have handled the game extremely well tonight, and you'll be very proud, of course, of them as members of the Royal Air Force. Great officialdom tonight.
Yeah, I thought you know, I thought the 3 of them let the game run. You know, made good decisions in good areas of the pitch. You know, and you know, as we all know, the game can't be played without good officials. So you know, all credit to them, and also last week's officials from the Army.
Did they make any bookings tonight? Did they need to?
Yeah, there was one booking, I think, wasn't there? There was just 1 yellow card shown.
Sam Atkinson, wasn't it?
Sam Atkinson got a yellow card in the first half, yeah, for I think there was a little bit of, shall we say, extra activity going on after the ball had gone past, so that's not a surprise that he went into the book. But I think, you know, overall, both, you know, this game was played in an extremely good spirit, really good spirit.
Yeah. Absolutely, and this is, you know, this is what the inter-services are about. It's you know, there's extreme rivalry between the 3 services, but we come together as a combined military force for the country, and try and showcase our best footballers.
There's definitely a respect for, you know, opponents on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the speech is just being made at the moment, congratulating both teams, which we can't pick up on our microphone, so we'll just carry on talking at the moment. Richard Wyeth, who is the ground announcer here from BFBS, a familiar voice to listeners here at BFBS in Aldershot, and he's just making the announcements.
First of all, there's going to be to the match officials being made by our sponsors, Jiu-Jitsu, Neil Dove. So please show appreciation for the match officials from the Royal Air Force Football Association, referee James Hall, assistant referees James Astley.
They come up to receive their medals. As we say, really well handled game tonight. Because, you know, these inter-services games can be pretty feisty affairs, you know, and because it's competitive, so that's no surprise. Good evening, Chris Pratt, my colleague Chris. Good evening to you, Chris, who's watching this evening here in Aldershot. Just the customary photos now being taken with all the officials tonight, including 4th official Richard King. And the next presentation will be made. Yep. So winning captain Luke Kearney comes up, and it's always a proud moment, isn't it, for any captain, any player to come up and receive some silverware, no matter what it is.
Yeah, you know, there are always proud moments when you receive something from military football. So you know, fair play to him.
Yeah, Luke had a couple of bashes in that second half, had to receive a bit of treatment, but he doesn't seem any worse for the wear now, and so that is the end of all the presentations this evening. So that's where we'll bring our transmission to an end tonight here at the EBB Stadium. Thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight. On behalf of all the team here, my thanks to Chris and to Andy from the RAF, who of course will be in action next week, both on and off the field. And we'll leave you with the celebrations of the Army celebrating winning the Mercury Cup. Next week it's the Constantinople Cup, the Inter-Services Championship, which will be up for grabs. But from myself, John Knighton, and the rest of the team here this evening, Julian Evans, Chris Giles and Mark Hearn, and indeed the rest of the team back at base as well, to Sarah and to Scott. My thanks to all of you, and a very good evening from here, all of us here in Aldershot. Good night for now.
Big